Hello, everybody. It's me, Bob Harris, senior editor, FootballDiehards.com. Time for your Week 18 injury preview, review, update, overview, the thing we like to do every Saturday to get you up to speed on all the things you might have missed out on during your busy weeks. Of course, it's Week 18. I mentioned that, right? It's the last week of the season, and things get a little weird here. Additional weirdness due to the Bills-Bengals cancellation. That Monday night game will not be played. So that throws a lot of leagues into disarray. So maybe some of you are still playing in Week 18 and need this information. So we'll put it out there. Of course, playoff implications will come into play here too. I'll try to highlight those that you might need to be aware of here as well. We'll do them chronologically. There are two Saturday games. I'll include those, but then focus on the Sunday. So I'm recording this at about 12:30 or 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, and Chiefs and Raiders will kick off an hour or two from now. The Jaguars and Titans are playing tonight. Playoff implications for both teams in tonight's game, the Titans and the Jaguars winning, essentially the AFC South title game. Chiefs need to play to win. Raiders not so much. So, and we'll roll through those. The injury issues in those games. We started with Josh Jacobs listed as questionable for the Raiders. They listed him as with the hip and oblique that's been an ongoing issue. He's played through it, played fantastically without any apparent issues on the field. They included that he missed some of the time he missed this week was due to a personal matter. So a little up in the air. Some local observers think Zamir White will play more today. We'll see about that. Jarrett Stidham continues as the starter there. On the other side of the ball, Harrison Butker is not a sure thing to kick. He's listed as questionable. They elevated Matthew Wright from the practice squad, so you want to watch that was inactive announcements if you're catching this before kickoff. Mecole Hardman could return, but seems like he'll play a limited role. Sky Moore has been ruled out of that game. Trevor Lawrence for the Saturday night game for the Jaguars listed as questionable. He's playing. He's been playing through this toe injury since the Detroit game. I want to say the last 4 weeks. So shouldn't be a big issue, especially in a very important game. Derrick Henry off the injury report for the Titans after they held him out last week. Josh Dobbs starts at quarterback. Treylon Burks listed as questionable with the groin injury. That'll be one you need to watch. We'll go into the Sunday early games. The Ravens are at the Bengals. This game has implications for all involved. Tyler Huntley listed as questionables. Will start because Lamar Jackson's out if he's active. If not, Anthony Brown will start. Deshaun Jackson questionable due to illness. I'll be interested to see. Bengals will have all hands on deck. Panthers at Saints, neither team playing for much here except pride. Deontay Foreman added the injury report on Friday. That's never a good thing. He's questionable with a knee issue. Chuba Hubbard, Raheem Blackshear standing by as needed. On the other side of the ball, Taysom Hill and Juwan Johnson, both tight ends, or the top two tight ends for this team, are listed as questionable back and quad issues respectively. I suspect they'll play. Adam Troutman will be the fallback if not. Again, neither team has anything to play for in this one. Vikings and Bears. Justin Fields ruled out. Nathan Peterman will start. Looks like everyone's good to go for the Vikings. They're activating Irv Smith Jr. from IR, most likely for the playoff run as opposed to for this week's game. But it does sound like we might not get a full dose of the starters for the Vikings in this one. It's great matchups for all involved as long as they're in the game. So maybe you'll get enough out of them if you're playing them. Patriots and Bills, obviously implications for both teams. Jacoby Myers listed as questionable. Seems likely to play. He's been playing through this shoulder issue for a few weeks now. Jonnu Smith also listed as questionable. Coming off concussion, seems likely to go. Devontae Parker off the injury report. Jets at Dolphins. Dolphins have quite a bit to play for, so they'll be playing to win in this one. And they should have Skylar Thompson at quarterback. He will start. Teddy Bridgewater's listed as questionable. Sounds like questionable, hopefully, to play a backup role. Tua Tagovailoa ruled out due to the ongoing concussion issues, so that'll be something to watch there. Cedric Wilson Jr., the wide receiver, also listed as doubtful, seems unlikely to play. For the Jets, Joe Flacco starts the quarterback. Zach Wilson will back him up. Mike White, the rib issues are more than he can bear. He has 5 broken ribs, it turns out, so that probably explains it. Flacco was pretty successful earlier this season, or at least, production-wise, so that bears noting here. CJ Uzomah added the injury report as questionable late this week, I think Friday, with a hamstring issue. Kind of works behind Tyler Conklin, has some brief moments of goodness, but hardly a viable streaming option. Texans and Colts, the only real relevance to this game is the Texans need to lose to ensure they keep the first-round pick in this year's draft. Philip Dorsett was ruled out for this game. O.J. Howard listed as questionable, both late-week additions, so, Howard, one of many tight ends. Not sure you want, having brief moments again. Not looking to dig that deep into the Texans receiving core. Nick Foles out for the Indianapolis Colts. Kylan Granson, the tight end, out as well. So Sam Ellinger will get another start. Matt Ryan will back him up. Buccaneers and Falcons. Julio Jones listed as questionable with knee issues and illness. I suspect the Buccaneers will be dialing back. They're locked into their playoff position. Can't gain or lose any ground in this one. Tom Brady likes to play in these kind of games. I think he's played in pretty much every game, when without much on the line. So we'll see how the Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers handle this one with all their starters. Falcons, no reason to play or not to play. The Browns and Steelers, both teams, Browns have nothing to play for. Steelers do. So no injury issues of note in that game. The late afternoon Sunday games. Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks need a win. Rams playing for pride. Tyler Lockett listed as questionable for Seattle. Has a shin issue. It's not the finger that he had surgically repaired last week. So sounds like he's trending towards playing. Travis Homer listed as doubtful. Kenneth Walker off the injury report. DJ Dallas off the injury report. Noah Fant off the injury report. So they're getting healthier and definitely need this win. Excuse me. Chargers and Broncos. Broncos are going nowhere. Chargers, depends on the outcomes of other games, whether they go all in or not. So that's something to be mindful of there. For the Broncos, Kendall Hinton's been ruled out, the receiver, and Marlon Mack placed on IR this week. Eric Saubert, one of the many tight ends, remember, Greg Dulcich is out on IR. So they have been playing a whole range of guys there. Eric Tomlinson also dealing with injury issues this week as well. So Albert Okwuegbunam seems like he'll be the most likely primary tight end here, or at least the healthiest tight end option. In a game that, again, Broncos are out of contention, will be in the coaching hunt. They put a new field in Denver this week. Good on them. Giants and Eagles. Eagles have everything to play for. They're trying to nail down the number one seed. The Giants have nothing to play for. Right? They can't. They're in the playoffs. Can't advance to their cause any. So a lot of the local observers there don't expect the starters to play. And we'll see. Tyrod Taylor could get the starter quarterback. They're playing it very close to the vest, right? They're not saying one way or the other. Brian Daboll's keeping it under his hat. But the local reporting suggests we won't see a lot of the starters, and some of them we might not see at all. For the Eagles, we might see Jalen Hurts. He's listed as questionable, trending towards playing, it sounds like. And again, they need a win here to lock down that number one seed. So good news if Hurts plays for those of you still hoping to eke out a championship. Miles Sanders off the injury report this week. Cardinals at 49ers. Cardinals have nothing to play for. Niners do, kind of depending on outcomes. They'll be scoreboard watching. They could still advance their cause a little bit if depending on what's going on with the Eagles. So that being the case, it's worth noting they have Christian McCaffrey. These guys all came off the injury report. Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, are expected to play. How much would be the question, especially depending on the outcome of other games. And then Elijah Mitchell could be back for this game. That will happen later this Saturday afternoon. They will officially activate him, but it sounds like he'll be back. You'll want to check the updated, the news and views and late-breaking updates section of the site for more on that. For the Cardinals, no Colt McCoy, no James Conner, no DeAndre Hopkins, no Robbie Anderson. It sounds like Cliff Kingsbury could be on the verge of losing his job after this game's over. So David Blau will continue to start at quarterback. Corey Clement and Keontae Ingram will be the top running backs here. Marquise Brown, Greg Dortch, top downfield threats. Maybe AJ Green and what might be his last game, Trey McBride. So not a lot to like in this one. The Giant, and by the way, the Cowboys and Commanders. Cowboys want to play to win in this one. So Brian Robinson Jr. and Antonio Gibson both out for the Commanders. Sam Howell will start at quarterback. Could be a rough go for Washington this week, and the backfield's wide open. Jonathan Williams, Jarrett Patterson likely to share the duties there with Robinson and Gibson both out. Gibson went on IR and had surgery, so that'll be something to watch over the offseason. Sunday night's game, Lions and Packers. Everyone's good to go. Everyone's healthy. Lions will have something to play for beyond just pride if the Seahawks lose. Packers have something to play for. This is going to be a playoff atmosphere win. I don't think the Lions aren't going to play to win, even if they're out of contention. They're in this to win this. So there you have it. Again, check the late-breaking update section of the site throughout, all the way up through all Sunday's games. By the way, I'm just getting news. Jonnu Smith has been downgraded to out for the Patriots. So there's one less we have to worry about there. Anyway, check the late-breaking update section of the site. You'll get all the latest information there. Check the FSP staff rankings. You go down, look for your players, find the notes next to them. It'll take you right to the information you need to know to make good decisions. Their ranking position will probably tell you something as well, as will the injury designations if they have one. There you have it. I hope you have had a great season. We will continue on into the playoffs for those people playing DFS and in postseason tournaments. So we'll kind of do a limited, flash update content, but there will be plenty there for you to work through and use to your advantage. Really appreciate you hanging with us all regular season, and of course on the YouTube channel, we'll continue to do content throughout the off season. So hang with us, and thanks for joining us all year.